All right, we're live. So we called it. We're gonna wait for Dr. Pruitt to get on, but yeah, we called it. The Chiefs won. So this is one of those situations. Once Dr. Kia Pruitt gets on, we'll talk more about how Dr. Pruitt knew that we were going to win this, or that the Chiefs were going to win this. All right. Dr. Pruitt, are you on?
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, so you called it. You said that the Chiefs were going to win.
I sure did. I knew it from the beginning.
Right. And and I called how it was going to happen. Since I knew they were going to win, since you said they're going to win, you gave me the reason. I was like, okay, so if they're going to win, this is how they have to do it.
Yes,
And what happened?
they won. It happened exactly how you said it was going to happen.
Uh-huh. So they started off. Uh,
Wait, I hear an echo. Can everybody hear an echo? Go ahead. I'm here.
all right,
I'm moving another room.
all right. So
Okay, I'm
okay,
listening.
so the way they had the Chiefs win was that they had to get the other team to do some losing. So the other team was obviously the superior team, the superior
Oh, yeah.
players.
The
Yeah,
49ers
they're way
definitely were
better.
superior.
It's,
They were way better, yeah.
so they started off. Uh, the guy was crying. The Chief.
Chris, his name is Chris somebody.
Uh, I can't remember the full name, but yeah. So Chris, he starts off. He's crying. You could tell those were forced tears, like he practiced
Yes.
in the mirror, kind of like
He even
ladies do.
tweeted like,
Uh, yeah, he squeezed them out. but the 49ers. So one of the guys got injured after he took two steps. Nobody contacted him. There was no contact injury where
oh,
he
yeah,
messed up his Achilles
I saw
heel.
that one. Yeah, yes,
Ridiculous.
Lord.
I've never seen anybody in my entire life get that type of injury. Never. And I would ask anybody else, have you ever seen three other people in your life get an injury like that after taking two steps? But and then there was another 49ers that got injured. His hamstring got injured, but it wasn't from being hit. Another non-contact, but I understand. Been in the game for a long time, so it's more realistic, but probably fake. So that's two injuries, and then we had another injury. Another 49er got his shoulders injured
Yeah,
towards the
saw that.
that was a big hit. So I'm not gonna say a whole lot about that, but they did a whole bunch of turnovers, and it was ridiculous. But why were the Chiefs going to win? Why did you know the Chiefs were going to
Okay, so we got to go back to last year's Super Bowl when the Chiefs won against the Eagles, and I called that game too. I said the Chiefs are going to win because what's going on behind the scenes geopolitically is you have a military, a group of military who we call the military white hats that are working with the chiefs on the land, the indigenous peoples of every single country to take down all of those nefarious or bad governments that have overtaken the indigenous people's government. So you have the white hats of the military, along with one particular commander in chief and some of the other geopolitical leaders working to take down those bloodline families that have usurped authority from the indigenous peoples. So that's how I knew the Chiefs were going to win against the Eagles last year. Now, the eagle is the symbol of the Roman Empire. And we know that the United States Incorporated, or the group of bloodline families that usurped authority from the chiefs and indigenous people on the land here, those bloodline people formed a coalition called the United States Incorporated, and they are a part of the Roman Empire. So the eagles represent the Roman Empire. And the chiefs on the land, of course, represents us, the indigenous people on the lands, or the melanated people, the tribal people, whatever you want to call us here in America, and the indigenous people all over the world. That's who the chiefs represent. So I knew that the Eagles were going to lose against the Chiefs because it's our time. We're having our governments restored, our republic restored, our lawful republic. We're having our financial system restored or returned back to us. And our financial system was using gold and silver as money. So again, I knew the Chiefs would win against the Eagles or the Roman Empire last year because the United States Incorporated and Roman Empire has fallen. Babylon has fallen. They filed for bankruptcy. They are insolvent, and the financial system that was under their control is insolvent. So fast forward to 2024, when you had the Chiefs against against the 49ers,
No,
I said,
wait. Was it, you said, fast forward to
to
2024. We're here. Okay, got it.
2024,
Yeah, yeah.
we had the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is also known as Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is big tech, where you have Google, what else? Some of those big tech companies, right? All over there in San Francisco. So Silicon Valley is connected to the deep state, or is connected to the bad governments that stole our land. So that's how I knew San Francisco had to lose. When you think on the other side about the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to keep in mind that again, it's the Chiefs. We're taking our power back into the indigenous people. Feathers up, y'all. And when you think of Kansas City, you know, the last time we heard of, or one of the most notable times we heard of Kansas City is when the Wizard of Oz featured Dorothy from Kansas City. So what was significant about Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz? She had on silver slippers or silver shoes in the original movie, and she eased on down the yellow brick road. In other words, she was using her silver slippers to ease on down the gold road to go back home. So that whole movie symbolized us going back to the silver and gold standard. And then you had Usher being the main entertainer, chosen over Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And the reason for that, and I said it, I called it, because we were ushering out of the old financial system, the old Swift system. That's what you call the old financial system. Are being ushered out of the old Swift financial system and ushered back into the gold system and gold standard. I know it was a long explanation, but so much is in my head. I'm trying to get it out at one
So
time.
I've noticed that this government does obviously, a lot of their announcements of what's happening and what's going to happen in their movies. So
Oh yeah,
this
this
goes
light is
along with,
horrible. I'm sorry.
yeah, we should have gotten that together before. But so in the movies, we have, if you watch Spider-Man, the animated series back in 2018, I think it was,
Uh-huh.
they ended one of the series. The way that they ended the series was that Spider-Man basically died. If you watch it and
Mm.
if you do the full interpretation, Spider-Man died. But so what happened was Spider-Man got Peter Parker was his essence was transferred into some type of computer program. You know how they talk about we can live in a computer as a computer program simulation or something. What it was.
Yes.
So his consciousness got transferred to a computer program, and then from that
Mm.
computer program computer program, he was copied to another computer. He was
Oh,
copied from one hard drive to another hard drive. He was copied from
okay.
that hard drive to another hard drive. By being copied so many times, they mentioned it in there. Once you have a copy of a copy of a copy, you usually lose, or you lose pieces of the original, right?
Mm.
And then eventually, what will happen if you keep with that process is that basically you won't have a viable product if you keep copying a copy. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So what they were saying in that was that it's a little well. It's the reason I'm not speaking very quickly is just because I don't want to offend anybody, and I'm trying to state it in a way that everybody can
Yeah.
understand me. But what they were saying was, again, back with the chiefs taking over the land, the indigenous people taking over the land, that um, that the people, the Europeans that are here, when they're outside of their environment, now that they're here, they're being, it's like a, you can't keep, you can't keep reproducing with recessive. You can't keep reproducing that. You have to eventually come back to add melanin into the
The
bloodline.
original.
Right. You have
The original.
you have to add the original. You can't keep a copy of a copy, or eventually there will be no more fertility.
Right.
Right. What they were talking about in 2000. I'm going to relate it. What they were talking about in 2018, I think it was, with this Spider-Man movie and with a lot of movies, is that is that is that there's an infertility problem with the people who are not original from this land, and what basically what they're saying was, I'm going to relate now to another movie, and you'll see a lot of movies that talk about, like there was X-Men Last Stand. There's a whole bunch of movies that talk about annihilation. There's a bunch of movies that talk about what's another word for annihilation? That means no longer there.
Deletion.
Huh?
Deletion.
No. Yeah, but there's another word that I'm looking for. But when you go extinction, talking about extinction, one of the worries is that the people who are called, or the people we call Europeans, are going through what some people call an extinction process, but it's not really extinction. It's just they're not going to be albino anymore. They're going to mix with the original and turn into brown people, which is not extinction. But if we're talking about this concept of being white, then there won't be any more white people at some point in the future. Depending how fast it happens depends on what happens. What people do. It depends on what people do, how we mix and all that. But the reason why this relates to, it's in all the movies. Like I said, you'll see movies with the title Annihilation, Extinction, Last Stand, on and on and on. There's so many movies that talk about the same thing. And then
Or there'll be more covert, or they'll be more covert, or they will be more covert and call the movie The Planet of the Apes.
Right. And then so the Planet of the Apes is in, they had that all through this
Super Bowl.
A whole bunch of commercials of the Planet of the Apes, basically saying that, calling us apes, we're obviously not apes, but calling the indigenous
That's the
people
code
apes.
word.
Yeah, saying
that's the
that
code
the
word.
indigenous people are going to take over. And so what they do is they're telling the whole world, hey, be prepared, and particularly even telling their people that, hey, you have to know that things are going to change.
Yeah.
And this is the way that it's about to happen. And so they had to make the 49ers, the superior team, lose the game just to get their message across.
Yeah.
That the Chiefs are taking over the land, or the indigenous people are taking over the land. And this isn't a negative thing. This is just biology. This is just the way that the natural order of things. Eventually, it was going to go this way anyway. And you even hear. Well, I'll get to that. I'll leave that. I was going to talk about Guy McPherson, who says that people are going to go extinct in 2025. But he was talking about, if you really pay attention to what he's talking about people in the state of albinism are going to no longer be in the state of albinism, and so they call that extinction, and that's like a fear tactic, because people aren't going extinct. The Europeans aren't going to be extinct; they're just going to turn brown, right?
Right.
But how long that happens, we don't know. It could be a generation. It could be several generations out. But my point just being that things are changing and they give us the information. And almost every movie talks about this. You just have to
Mm.
see what they're talking about. Yet, or you have to just be able to decode what they're talking about. Almost every almost every movie talks about it. And a lot of these interactions, a lot of the like the Super Bowl, like we just mentioned, is talking about it, or even these commercials will talk about, or will show, uh, they will show what we call two races being mixed. You know, races are
Mm.
a race is kind of made up, but
You
balloons.
see those balloons?
Yeah, what?
Maybe somebody sent balloons. I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, I like balloons. So, but yeah, so when they talk about the two, you'll see the commercials where there's so-called black person and so-called white person joining together to make a child. Like even in the Super Bowl, they had that. They had an American female and a European male mating to make a mixed
Mm-hmm.
child. You know, and so they do that. It is propaganda to try to make that happen, but they're also saying that
And you say American, you're saying a black woman with a white man
yes,
is
ma'am.
who they. American woman being black and European man being white man. They showed them as a
Yeah,
couple during the what a half during a commercial.
yeah, on one of the commercials, and then showed they showed the commercial was okay. There's the American, the people we call black. There's this American woman, and there's this European male or man, and they're taking pictures. The pictures are blurry. They take and then it comes clear. There's a whole bunch of different scenes, and then at one point the female might be kissing the male,
Mm-hmm.
the American might be kissing the European, and then to show that she's in complying with it, like she's for it. Trying to, they're both pushing an agenda and also telling you what's happening. But anyway, then eventually there's a picture, it's blurry, and then they make it clear, and now they're in the maternity ward, and the woman is showing, hey, I got a baby, and there's the male and the female, the European male and the American female. Anyway, they're doing that to say, but it's almost like threefold. One,
Mm-hmm.
the propaganda is that um, uh, Europeans are albino, which is okay. But
Mm-hmm.
two albinos mixing is gives you less fertility. You see, it's two albinos mixing is not as viable as two people without albinism
Right.
mixing. The child, right? So what they're basically saying is that hey, if we want to continue to be on Earth, period, that we're going to have to mix with people with melanin.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's the first propaganda. That's the first piece. The second piece is they're still trying to erase us as a people here in America. They're still trying to destroy our genetic pool, the same way they did in South America. They're trying to do it in North America. Like in South America, they've been sexed out of existence. The people who they used to all look like us and darker, and now they look like what we call a Mexican or what we call a Eastern, what you call those Middle Eastern, or they're albinoid now because
Mm-hmm.
they've been sexed out of existence. They're trying to still do that to us. So that's the second piece of propaganda. Now the third thing is what they're saying is just actually occurring is that eventually, no matter what people do, no matter how the wars happen, how long it takes, eventually everybody's going to be brown, and then so that's the other piece of information that they're giving, and that might be a little more than what you expected me to say, but I don't
Well,
know, or that people might expect me to say, but yeah, that's what's
well,
happening.
that's the biological explanation, yes, of what's happening. Eventually, everybody's going to turn back to the melanin people, the original people. That's from a biological standpoint. And then from a political standpoint, what they're saying is that the originals people's government is coming back online because the republic here in America is our lawful government. And the republic of the indigenous people all over the planet, or the aboriginal people, the original people are the melanated people, or people that dark skin. All nations started out that complexion. So, but their government was the government that they used, and we all use gold as money. Every last one of us, all across the planet. But then you had all of our governments taken over, and they put us on a financial system that's not backed by gold. They used a constitution that they made up. That's not our original constitution, but all of that is being dismantled, and our government and our system is being returned. Mm-hmm. And that's amazing because our system was righteous. It was it was lawful, and it was more peaceful, and it made it better for everybody on the planet, regardless of where your nation and your ethnicity, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So it's just an exciting time to be alive.
It is. It is. It's very exciting to see our government coming back into fruition, or back into good standing, or however you say. Yes, it is great. It is excellent. I am happy, and I want to be alive to see the full recovery of our government. And this isn't a negative thing. I want to keep pushing that this isn't a negative thing. The mm-hmm. thing that has you have to correct the problem. Everybody understands that colonialism was not good for the earth. This wasn't a good. They'll say that, oh, these were sins of the past. But okay, so how do the sins get corrected? Well, the people have to come back in power of their own government. This
right,
and this shouldn't be fought. This should be helped and praised.
Right.
And yeah, so yeah, help us. I'm excited.
Somebody said, you see, my dog is the mayor, says, I don't know how much longer I can hold on. Those are the true sentiments of most people. Everybody I know, it's like, look, we can't take it much longer. This is just dragging out too long. Mm-hmm. But I want to offer some hope, King Douglas, whenever you get a minute.
Yes.
I can tell you how we know our government is being restored. Mm-hmm. Our lawful government. Number one, when the state of Texas was overrun by illegal aliens, Governor Abbott sent the National Guard to guard every port of entry in the state of Texas. That's huge. What that says to me is that now states are back in control, because under the Republic, our lawful government, each state operated as its own country. We have our own laws. We have our own flag. We have our own people in place. And the governor of each state actually operates as a president underneath our lawful republic, the indigenous people republic. We're the ones that created the government here in America. And the government, the American government, was based off the Iroquois people, their government, us, the natives. So we have to go back a little bit and remind people that the so-called Black people in America are the indigenous Aboriginal people here in America. We did not come from Africa. We did not come from slave ships. We are Americans.
Yes, so we are Americans. Yes, you said it, but we are the Americans. Everybody can't be Americans. The Americans are Americans. The Europeans are Europeans. The Chinese are Chinese, and the Nigerians are Nigerian. But it's
and they will tell you.
Yeah.
They tell you. I'm Chinese. They might call themselves Chinese American, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty, they say, I'm from China. I'm Chinese.
Yes. And then where are we from? We're from here. We're American.
We're from Black land.
You
let them tell it.
I know.
But if you look at the 1828 Webster's definition of American, it says the copper-colored people found by Christopher Columbus, but now applied to Europeans. So that's identity theft.
Yes.
We're the Americans. I mean, we can play along. We can graft you in.
We almost have to play along.
Yeah. And
I mean, I can't say Black. I mean, I cut you off. I did cut you off.
Go ahead.
But we have to play along. Like when I say American, if I go out and say, oh, that American over there, like, oh, you're talking about the white person? Oh, you're talking about the Chinese person? Like, I have to play along. I have to play along. I just said American, said an American woman and a European male, and we had to clarify that no, actually, it's the people we call Black, the American woman, the Black woman, the European male, no, the white male. We have to play along. Or even I have to stutter when I try to explain genetics, regular, just plain genetics.
Because
I just I,
people get offended. They
because
get
people
offended.
get offended, and everybody's playing along, so I have to play along. Or even there was something else about and then so a lot of Europeans are, they're like they get offended because it's like, well, why are you being mean to me and saying that I'm not an American, and it's like maybe you I don't know, you think that I'm doing the bad things, like I did this
Oh.
intentionally trying to harm you. I don't think that all the Europeans are trying to harm us. I think there's a group of people who is trying to harm us, European and other genetic makeups that are trying,
And
Americans,
so-called black people. And
Americans,
so-called black people
Africans.
at
Yes,
the top.
yes, at the
Mm-hmm.
top, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, one of the problems is that we are vastly outnumbered in our own land. We have 300 million Europeans, 300 million Europeans in the land, and only 50, around about a little under 50 million Americans in the land. And then we have a bunch of everybody else from every other country, from everywhere. So I have to play along, or else people don't even know what I'm talking about. But I cut you off, and I don't know if you remember where you were.
I do, but speaking about playing along, we got President Trump said a while ago that Morocco was the first nation to recognize us as our own nation. Morocco was the first government, I think he said, that recognized us as our own nation. What he was saying is that Morocco and the Moroccan Empire, which America is a part of the Moroccan Empire, that's why they called us Moors. This was all the Moroccan Empire, were the first ones to recognize the Europeans as their own nation. We allowed the Caucasian Europeans to come here and establish their own nation, their own government. They have their own flag, that red, white, and blue flag. That's not the flag of America. That's the flag of those people. And we allowed them to do trade and commerce here because they were escaping the bad things that were happening to them in Europe by the brutish Moors, also known as the British. So, like Trump said, the Moroccans recognize us as our own nation because they are their own nation. Just as now they're considered Americans. But let me get back to how we know that our republic is back in place. Because Governor Abbott, who's the governor of Texas, sent his own National Guard to protect his borders. Now, the only way you could do that is if you're recognizing that you're a sovereign entity. You're your own country, you have your own laws, you have your own National Guard. That was huge. And then after he did that, Biden said, I'm going to federalize the National Guard and bring the National Guard under my rule so that you can't protect your border. Well, then the Texas Attorney General said, not on my watch. And he said he forbade Biden, the president, because he's not the president of America. He's the president of the United States Incorporated, which is a group of bloodline families that took over the indigenous people's government and incorporated themselves in Delaware in 1871. So the Attorney General in Texas said, you ain't coming over here. And he forbade Biden from coming over to his country or his state of Texas. Not only that, but Governor Abbott reached out to President Trump, who is the commander in chief still right now, even though people think Biden running things. And he reached out to him and said, we need support because Biden is threatening to come over here and remove our National Guard and to federalize the National Guard so he can have control over them. So President Trump encouraged the Republican-led states to send the National Guard to Texas. So now 25 other states sent their National Guard to Texas to guard the borders. 25 states said, we stand with Texas. There, you can look, you can find it's documented. Now you just have to figure out where it is, or you can follow the Dr. Kia Pruitt show on YouTube, and you can see that I documented that, or you can follow me on Rumble. So not only do you have 25 states that have put the National Guard on the ground to guard the borders in Texas, but they're guarding the borders all over America. Mainstream media just will not announce that. Additionally, we know that our republic is in place and that we now are operating in our sovereignty is that 43 states passed laws to reclaim silver and gold as money. That's huge. Because according to our Constitution, the only thing that can be used to pay off debt is silver and gold. And according to our Constitution, the dollar is defined as a fixed weight in silver. And again, you can only use silver and gold to pay off debt. So all I'm saying is this is soft disclosure that our republic has been restored. We're back on the constitutional law, and the sovereign people, the indigenous people, and the chiefs are back in control of their own nations.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And the only way that a foreign government can stay in control of our government, the only way this hegemony can stay in place is that they have to use paper dollars, or they have to either use paper dollars that they can print endlessly, right? Or they have to use electronic money on a computer that is just really made up in the air. Like, you don't need anything, you see. So so if we actually have a physical product, right?
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a physical product that you have to get out of the ground and that you can't grow, then then basically we would be able to take back over control, because we would be able to. It's like winning a game that has rules. If a game has rules, then someone can win. An opposing team can win. But if there's no rules, if they can print money endlessly, and if we gather money, and they can just print so much money that we can never touch them, then they will stay in control. If I'm making sense, that ability to make money out of nowhere, to manifest money, or to manifest value out of nothing is is the craziest thing in the world. And I do know why it happened, so that they can stay in power. But the moment that we return to the gold standard, the foreign government simply cannot stand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a victory. It's a victory not only for us, the indigenous people or the Aboriginal people on the land, but this is a victory for all of the people on the planet, because it's not about black against white. It really isn't. It's about these entities that came to the planet to enslave all of humanity. Now, what they did was they suppressed and oppressed the people, the Aboriginal people, as far as they could. They stole our land, they stole our resources, they put drugs in our community, they put guns in our community, they had us deleting each other, they had us deleting our own babies through abortion, they had us doing all this stuff, and they murdered us, put us in prison, did all they could until they couldn't break us down any further, and then they went after our white brothers and sisters. So the whole plan was to oppress us, at the same time run a divide and conquer campaign to make one group think they were better than the original people, and then to conquer the whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
So this victory of us having our republic restored, and this victory of the chiefs on the land being back in position, is a victory for the whole world. And so people might say, well, where are these chiefs? Oh, they're here. They're just operating behind the scenes, doing what they need to do to bring down those nefarious powers and put our republic and our constitution back online. They're working. They're working behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to take back my land. I want my land under my control, like anybody.
Yeah.
And just to point to, I do want to state again that I don't think that all 300 million Europeans here are intentionally trying to harm us. It's kind of like, let's say we had an evil faction of Americans, or people we call black, right? And we sent them over to Ghana. Ghana has, I can't remember how many, it's not much. I can't remember how many million Ghana has, but we outnumber them. If all the Americans the people we call black people, were sent over to Ghana, and well, okay, we look so much alike. You can see the difference. If
Yeah,
we were
you
all
see.
if we were all sent to Ghana, right, we would
Mm-hmm.
conquer their land by sheer numbers,
My numbers, yeah.
by sheer numbers. But it doesn't mean, but should the Ghanaians then try to harm every single American
Yeah.
because the Americans outnumber them in Ghana? No. What the Ghanaians should do is take back over their land, and so
Right.
it's it's like over here. I wouldn't be angry if I was born in Ghana after 500 years of some evil faction of Americans sending all the so-called black Americans. If some evil faction of Americans, some small evil faction of Americans sent over all of our people to Ghana, outnumbered them 500 years ago, and now I'm born in Ghana, outnumbering the Ghanaians. I wouldn't be mad at the Ghanaians for wanting to take their land, wanting to become
Or send you
the
back
owners of it,
home.
or even
Or would you be mad if they told you to go back
I wouldn't
home?
be upset about that either. And then so
Mm-hmm.
this is where we're at, where the Europeans need to understand that this isn't about being angry at anybody. It's about
Mm-hmm.
correcting what has been what has been what has the problem. It's about correcting the problem. So
Mm-hmm.
so this is where we're at, where we Americans, the people we call black people in North America, we are the last of our people in all of America. All of South America, all of Central America, all of North America,
Mm-hmm.
all of what they Canada, which is part of North America, all of Greenland, all of
Mm-hmm.
Iceland, all that's North America. We are the last of our people. We are the last people. We cannot die. I'm saying if we lose this, then there's no more Americans. This is something that's really serious. Like and so I I would say everybody else that's here that's not American should understand that this isn't about being hateful. This is about one surviving, and then we're the original people. If you get rid of the original, again, a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy eventually ends up to no fertility. You can't
Wow.
get rid of the original, or everybody dies. You see.
Right.
So again, we're at the point where we're taking over our land, and everybody else needs to be comfortable with it. Everybody else needs to help us and understand that it's not about being angry with anybody. It's about correcting a problem that has occurred. Correcting something correcting a problem. That's what it's about. Solving a problem. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Under the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the global version of that is called the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. It actually says, and this was signed into law in 2000, as most people don't know about it, but it actually says that there's going to be trillions of dollars ejected into the global economy once we take down this fake government and take down their fiat-based financial system. So there's going to be trillions of dollars ejected into the economy based on gold that's found here in America. And when that happens, the only way that people in our land can receive money is that they have to be American. And if you're from another country of origin, you have to go to your own country of origin to receive your benefits. I think that was a very amicable way to deal with that issue. You got to go in your own country, then you can have those benefits. And this is a global law.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see a few
And I
questions
have many
on here.
videos on that. You sent me a question?
Videos on it.
Huh?
You said you have
Say it again?
videos on. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
videos
I
on
have
that.
videos on NASARA and JASARA, the National Economic Security Reformation Act, and the global version of that, and how trillions of dollars will be injected into the economy to help humanity. And these trillions of dollars that are going to be ejected will be to pay us back for all of the nefarious banking system, all the loans they made us take out, the mortgages, the bank loans, the credit card debt. We were not supposed to do any of that. Anything we ever needed, we were supposed to get out of our own trust that each individual had at birth. There's many videos on that, and how our, what you call it, birth certificates were actually turned into a bond and circulated on the New York Stock Exchange, making money. And that money was put in a trust for every person on the planet to live on. But instead of us living on that, they made us take out loans. And when we signed the papers, we, unbeknownst to us, gave them power of attorney to access our trust and pay themselves off for our mortgage, for our student loans, for our cars. They paid themselves based on our trust and then made us pay them back with interest. So because that was unlawfully done all across the planet, there's going to be trillions of dollars ejected into the economy to pay us back. And the way that will manifest itself is it will be in the form of a universal basic income, like a UBI that Qatar and some of your rich countries all over the planet, actually, they already do this. So these oil-rich countries that are so rich decided that they don't want to keep the riches for themselves. They give every single person in their country a universal basic income, put it into their accounts, and they live off of it every month. And they live very well in those countries like Qatar. Mm-hmm. They have free health care. They have all type of free education. We'll have the same. Mm-hmm. Now we know it's happening with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl against the Eagles, which is the Roman Empire and the United States Incorporated. They won. The United States Incorporated filed bankruptcy, and I have those papers that I presented on my channel. What else? The Federal Reserve banking system, they're insolvent. They're bankrupt. So that whole system is coming down. And now we're going to have this money ejected into the economy. So I would tell our family, just hold on, just be patient just a little longer. It's coming out little by little, but now it's about to come out like very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of questions. Did you want to do these questions?
Sure.
Let's see. Hold on, let me get back to...
I see all these people. Hey, family. I don't know what's going on with my light, Doug. I got the light on in here. I don't know why it's so dark.
You want me to come over there real quick?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. I can see you.
Unless you want to. You can see, okay.
I can see, okay. Okay, so do you want to read these? I'm trying to read the name.
Somebody said, what's up with Biden's laser eyes? I guess he posted a picture of himself with red laser eyes. I didn't see it. I need to look into that. I'm not sure. I need to look at the picture and look into it. I'm sure I can do a deep dive and research it and see what he's trying to say.
Mm-hmm. And then DP Ventures 2018. Mm-hmm. He says the Chiefs, in parentheses, the original people of this land have reclaimed their inheritance.
Ashe.
And then we have someone, my dog is the mayor, says, how long for Iraq to RI, revalue?
Reinstate their currency and revalue. Actually, the Iraqi dinar has already been revalued, and the new system has been put in place, and the United States Treasury put parameters on the system that will be used to and they put laws in place to ensure that nothing nefarious happens when Iraq tries to convert their currency, or we try to convert our Iraqi dinar to the lawful currency that will be used over here in America. So it's already been revalued. We're just waiting for the new rate to be placed on the new rate to be shown on the bank, in the banking system. We're waiting for the new, I'm sleepy. We're waiting for the new rate to be initiated or put in place for the Iraqi dinar, and we're waiting for the Iraqi dinar to trade on the Forex. But everything's been in place. The system, the financial system, what else? Some people have said that the rate is like $2.40. So I would say people who hold Iraqi dinar will probably go to exchange this year. Definitely this year. I think it'll definitely be this year. Mm-hmm. You have any thoughts about that?
I know we had spoken about it before, and that we okay. What we were speaking about was how a lot of the in the past the changes have happened with some other type of major event to kind of okay. So one of the
Yeah.
one of the revaluations happened right after a blackout, something like
The Kuwaiti
that.
dinar evaluated in 1991, yes.
Okay,
And
was
there was a major
it after a black?
blackout.
Okay,
There was a blackout, it was
uh,
electricity went off.
and then there was something else similar, but they do these things in order to give somebody else a head start, give one group of people a head start, and keep the other group of people delayed. And they'll likely do the same thing in this instance, where they're going to try to delay the majority of the people. So I would just say people are going to have to keep their. I don't like using a whole lot of metaphors, but people are going to have to pay attention to what's happening inside the country. Pay attention to basically you're going to have to get some contacts inside the country. So because the people inside the country will probably know that the revaluation has happened before us outside of the country. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think
Well,
that's what's going to
yeah,
happen. Go ahead.
yeah, so a lot of people have signed up with
Mm-hmm.
dinarguru.com and a bunch of dinar different contacts. Stay in contact with me on the Dr. Kia Pruitt show, and I'll definitely let people know when we revalue. But I want to say that, like you said, some major event will
Mm-hmm.
occur that will distract the masses from knowing that people who hold those currencies are going to the bank to get the new exchange
Mm-hmm.
rate. So let's say you have $1 million in Iraqi dinar now, and the new exchange rate is $2.40. You did multiply $2.40 times a million means you're now going to have what, $2,400,000 when you go to the bank. So there's going to be some type of big event, just like in Kuwait. What happened was there was a blackout and the electricity went out. Well, everybody was kind of distracted because the electricity went out. But the people who were holding the Kuwaiti dinar got the call to go to the bank, and they went in the dark and they exchanged. They were holding on to the Kuwaiti dinar. They bought it when it was cheap. When the rate changed before the whole masses knew about it, they went and got in the new exchange rate. Now, keep in mind that we're about to see something major happen in America. How do you know? Because the National Guard is already on the ground. You think it's a coincidence that the National Guard has been sent to Texas to guard the border? Okay, if the National Guard's been sent to guard to protect the border in Texas, and 25 states sent their National Guard to control and protect the border in Texas, don't you think they're controlling the border all
Right.
over America? They just haven't told you. And why are the National Guard really on the ground? Not just to protect us from these people coming into our with ports of entry, but to protect us from whatever they had up their sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, when Antifa and Black Lives Matter, sent in their agents to come and disrupt every state in the nation and riot and protest and tear up their
Every
cities.
state.
The National Guard was on the ground then, right?
Yes.
Yes. And actually, I told people to prepare that the National Guard was going to be deployed on the ground, that we're going to have a curfew, that some type of Black Swan event was coming. I don't know, you read that article. My article, it went
Yeah.
viral. Because why? Because when I put that article out, it hadn't
Right.
happened. And people were making fun of me and they were saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a conspiracy theorist. But days later, actually, I've been talking about it for like a year or two. No, since 2017. But I wrote something on my Facebook page the 1st of March, and I said, y'all better prepare. It's coming. We're going to have curfew. We're going to go to the stores. You need to store up. You need to stock up on food, products, et cetera, because some Black Swan event is coming. The same people that made fun of me one person took my article and they put it in different independent news sources, and it went viral because people had laughed at me and said it was a lie and it didn't make sense. And then what happened days later, we had the shutdown of the whole world.
The whole world.
But all I'm saying is knowing that the National Guard is on the ground now is letting me know that something is up.
Mm-hmm. I also,
But what do you say?
I was gonna say, I was gonna say that you're the first person I heard speak about Nassar and wait,
Mhm.
Nasara, Jasara. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You,
Hmm.
you were the first one I ever heard talk about that. I had to look it up once you
Hmm.
started talking about it, or I had to ask you a whole lot of questions. But after you started speaking, then various groups of Moors, proclaimed Moors,
Yeah.
started talking about it.
Hmm.
They started
Hmm.
talking. They started taking a lot of your talking points and
And that's okay.
speaking on it.
I was okay with that. They started
Yeah,
following me, and I'm actually
yeah,
honored. I'm actually
yeah,
honored,
yeah, yeah.
you know. But
Yes, but
but yeah, I was one of
but
the first person
you were
to
the
go
original.
ahead.
Yes, and then
Yes, absolutely.
and then other popular people or influencers started taking a lot of your talking points, but you have been the origination of a whole lot of information, uh,
Whole lot of
a, a,
information.
a whole lot of information, and getting the information out to the masses. And that brings me to Mr. DP Ventures 2018 says, "Bless you
Is
both."
that Dennis Perkins? Is that you, Dennis Perkins? He's a wonderful supporter and encourager. He blesses me financially. He always gives me good, encouraging words. You know, it just supports me. I think that might be Dennis, but we can ask him. Go ahead.
He says, "Bless you both for your acts and living sacrifices that you make to better inform us." Like,
Oh, that sounds like Dennis. You're welcome.
we
Thank you for your encouragement.
we have another one. My dog is the mayor. Says, "This year?" Question mark. Lord, I was hoping soon. Are you talking about the revaluation? Do you think he's talking about the?
Oh, definitely. We need the revaluation of currencies to happen this year because the dollar has collapsed
I'm gonna
with
start
all the
following.
BRICS nations. Okay, with all the BRICS nations that have stopped trading with the dollar, that's 85%, more than 85% of the global population is no longer trading using the dollar. So now that all the BRICS nations have decided they don't want to use the dollar for trade anymore, that means that the dollar has lost a lot of its purchasing power. So the dollar is going to completely collapse. And of course, so this was, for those of you who don't know it, the reason why the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, remember, follow the yellow the yellow brick road. They were foretelling you that BRICS was going to take us back to the gold standard. Follow the yellow brick road. That was a part of the Wizard of Oz. Yes, she wore silver slippers or silver shoes in the original story, and she followed the yellow brick road. So that was just a whole story about we're going to return to the gold standard and we're going to follow BRICS. So that operation was called Project Sandman. And what Project Sandman said was when triggered, countries will simultaneously stop trading with the dollar. They'll completely stop using the dollar and they will start using gold instead. What was that trigger? When triggered, they would do this. The trigger was Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin went to the Ukraine and he cleaned out the deep underground military bases from all of these people who are harming children in there. And he cleaned out all the whole country from trafficking, harvesting of, our babies and all kind of things. He was the trigger. And when he went to clean out the Ukraine and the Biden administration from doing nefarious things over there, then Biden, when Putin did that, Biden sanctioned or put sanctions on Vladimir Putin of Russia. And Vladimir Putin did the ultimate clapback by saying, I'm not scared of you. You can put sanctions on me. You can tell people not to trade with me. I don't care, not one bit, because I don't need you. And so he said, I'm not going to even use your dollar. I'm going to use my own currency. Talking about a bad move. I mean, I'm like a bad in a good way. And he used the Russian ruble. And this is why in 2022, the Russian ruble was the strongest performing currency in the whole world. So he started using his own currency backed by gold. Then he said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go to the gold standard. And then he led, remember, Russia is a part of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China. He led the whole BRICS union, that alliance, all of those countries to leave the dollar and to start using their own currencies backed by gold and using gold to trade for oil. That was monumental. It was huge. So now that all these countries have decided not to trade using the United States dollar, the United States dollar has lost its power, its preeminence, or its hegemony. Because what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia that we would protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil, and we would force all the nations to trade, get oil from Saudi Arabia and trade using the dollar. Well, once Vladimir Putin stopped using the dollar, remember, he encouraged BRICS to do the same, stop using the dollar and go back to gold and using their own currency backed by gold. Well, right after he did that and inspired BRICS to leave the dollar, Saudi Arabia joined BRICS. And BRICS became known as Saudi BRICS. And then that led all these other nations to join BRICS, follow the yellow BRICS road. When they did that, the dollar lost its purchasing power. So with the dollar losing its value, I don't even know how I got on that. Do you know? Gold and silver increase in value. But what was the original question? I'm so sorry.
The original question was, the question was this year, question mark? Lord,
yes.
I hope it's, or Lord, I was hoping soon. Talking about the revaluation, I think. Yeah.
So with the dollar losing its value, now we have to go back to the gold standard. And 43 states already passed legislation to remove the taxes from the sales of precious metals, which means 43 states have already walked in their sovereignty. They're reclaiming gold and silver money. You can look up articles that say 23 states reclaim silver and gold as money. And you can find an article that says 42 states passed laws to remove this taxes from the sales of precious metals. And then you'll find another article that says Mississippi is the 43rd state to remove the taxes from the sales of precious metals. All they're doing is saying now silver and gold will be used as lawful money. All this is happening now. So yes, the revaluation of currencies have to happen, because all we were waiting for was the countries to have their gold repatriated back to themselves so they can back up their currencies with their own resources. And that's all a revaluation is. A revaluation is reinstating the country's currencies back to its original value based on the resources that the countries have to back their dollar. So since we see all these things happening with the mainstream media just laid off a whole bunch of people. I did a video on that about 3 days ago. Major corporations are collapsing. They filed bankruptcy. Many banks have failed. Now that whole old financial system is collapsing right before our eyes. So I would say, indeed, the gold standard will be put in place this year, and we will see people going to the banks to exchange their currencies. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
say that. Go ahead.
It would make sense that it would happen this year. It would. I wanted to read some of the other questions.
Sorry about my long
say something
answers.
else about that, but it's kind of out of my head.
Oh.
As soon as it comes back, I'll say it. But again, from we have my dog is the mayor says, did y'all hear about the dialysis treatment center that sent out letters that act as a pass during the shutdown?
I have that letter. Yes, I have a copy of the letter where the dialysis treatment center was sending a letter to their patients saying, use this letter in case of a shutdown and a curfew being instated. I think I showed it to you, Doug. I don't know if I did not, but yeah. Somebody sent it.
He says I called and verified that the letter is legit. What were we about to say?
Wow. I said I have a copy of it. Wow. Who said that? My dog is the mayor?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, so I mean, it makes sense. And if you follow Ariel, Ariel on Twitter, if you don't, you should. He posted the correlation between the events that happened in 2020 and the events that are happening in 2024. I mean, to the T, the exact same events. He documents each point. And at the end of that, it says March 2020 COVID. And he says, if all these things happening in March 2020, in 2020, and all these things correlate with them, the same thing happened in 2024, are we going to have a COVID 2.0 in March?
Oh, no. I sure hope not. But they say that COVID's never going away. That I've heard some people that I do listen to, and they've been right about some other things. They said that COVID doesn't seem to ever be going away.
Yeah.
It's kind of just in the but again, with this being a manufactured um, uh, biological weapon, they're probably just going to push the biological weapon again,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
But most people will reject it, and we will have new technologies that can address those issues, like the med beds.
Mm-hmm.
And the precursor to the med bed is a technology that the Meta Center has right now to detect ailments in your body, and they have different herbs and things that can address the issues that you may have from that sickness and from the antidote or the so-called cure from the sickness. But we will have med beds and advanced technology to take care of all that.
Okay, so we have another person, Ed 0835 says, what do you think about AI being involved in all of this? In which part? AI being involved in, he said in all this. What do you, okay, let me read his question again. What do you, what do you think about AI being involved in all of this?
Um, AI stands for artificial intelligence.
Yes.
I personally believe that artificial intelligence will be used for a lot of things. It could be used for our good. As long as we don't let it control us, in my humble opinion. But I'll let you address that.
So I've heard people talk about artificial intelligence. Some people say that the what the majority of the population calls artificial intelligence is not artificial intelligence. It's just a
Okay.
pre-programmed response. I as in
Mm.
just a regular computer program that basically says when this input is given,
Mm-hmm.
this output is given. When
Mm-hmm.
one thing happens, then here's the answer for that thing to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is not actually AI, but now there is that concept of artificial intelligence where a computer can actually or a program can actually now learn. Well, one, that's
Mm-hmm.
scary, and I don't really know how to comprehend that fully. So, what do I think about their involvement in I guess the matters of the world or the topics that we've been talking about? Because I don't fully understand AI, it's going to be hard for me to explain that, except to say that the majority of the things that we call AI is not actually artificial intelligence. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
programmed response. And if there is artificial intelligence, then again, that's still a program. Whoever creates the program is is basically who leads the thought pattern of or the action pattern of that artificial intelligence. If okay, the same if the same entity that is the nefarious entity the nefarious entity that has conquered this planet is the one that's created the AI that we are being made aware of, right?
Yeah.
So that AI is more than likely going to be a nefarious entity itself, you know,
Mm-hmm.
right? My child is going to be like me. Now,
Right.
but then again, you just put AI against AI, right? I can create artificial intelligence. If someone else can do it, I can do it. So I'm not exactly sure how to best answer that question, but we have another question here.
I probably
Um,
got 10 more minutes and I really need to go to bed. I'm so tired.
it is 12:25. Okay, last question. Um,
We can answer
M,
the last few questions if there
okay,
are more.
okay. Uh, M Besse, uh, MBESE8 says, I work for a company and they gave us those letters during the shutdown. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Now to the game again. The the 49ers was the superior team. You can see that from the very beginning. They were driving hard. Oh man, they yeah, you can just see from the very beginning. It even looked like
Yes.
they had strong players. Their
Yeah.
offense
Indeed.
was better, their defense was better, but someone must have told them hey, you need to fall and tear your Achilles after 2 steps coming from out of bounds. Nobody's touching you. Just tear your Achilles. And somebody must have told the other player on the 49ers, hey, I need you to tear your hamstring. No contact. It must have told another player from the 49ers, hey, I need you to injure your shoulder. It was like, hey, I need y'all to do drop the ball. Hey. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it was definitely rigged. It
yeah,
was
it was
definitely
rigged.
rigged.
It was rigged, but they needed to send the message, and I accept the message.
I accept the message, and we called it because we just know it's our
Right.
time, and we follow the trends. We can see that it's time for the indigenous people to have their government back. That's only fair,
Mm-hmm.
and so they communicate through their sports to let us know, these so-called elite people, the people in power, to let us know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, there was no satanic
I
halftime
didn't.
show.
Yeah, I didn't. I was looking for him. I was looking all around for the crazy messages that they like to send with
Mm-hmm.
blood, black and red, and some type of death, and
Mm-hmm.
different genders. They did have a lot of homosexuality type of programming, but not quite like they do with the real nefarious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see a whole lot of that.
With
Yeah.
the rituals and witchcraft and,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, blood and all. In fact, the halftime show was a big celebration. It was excellent. I loved it. And I usually don't even
Right,
watch it.
right.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They did have a lot of the numbers, the 11, and this is the 11th, and
The
13 was
13.
all over the place. So you know that obviously some group of people who like these numbers are in charge. Maybe they're Masonic organizations. Obviously, they're Masonic organizations. But yeah, I didn't see a lot of the even the transgender type thing that people like to, or that the Masonic organizations like to push on everybody. I didn't
Yeah.
see a lot of that. Not that there's a problem with people who um, who have those behaviors.
Let
I'm
me
going to stop on
say
that.
something about the number 11 and number
Go ahead.
13. The number 11 is a portal. The one and the one looks like a doorway. It is a portal. And what that represents is that you're ushering out of an old season, and ushering or entering into a new season, out with the old, in with the new. So that's why the Super Bowl was on the 11th day.
Like a door.
So, yeah, yes, yes. So and that's an exciting time. It's a master number. You have the one manifested twice, which means leadership, being at first, being in control. And then again, the doorway is out with the old, in with the new, out with the old financial Swift system, hint Taylor Swift. She was supposed to be the showcased in the halftime of the Super Bowl, but she wasn't. So exiting out of the Swift system and ushering in, there's the word usher, in the gold system. So that's the 11, the doorway or portal. The 13 originally in ancient Egyptian times and ancient African, or whatever you say, was actually a benevolent number. It's a good number. The number 13 represents peace, power, and prosperity. Peace, power, and prosperity. So it's not a nefarious number. They took our numbers and our systems and they turned it around to make it seem like it's evil and it should be dark and we should be afraid of it. That's why they created Friday the 13th. But no, 13 is a benevolent
Mm-hmm.
number. And people that know how to work with the number 13 actually know how to manifest things for themselves in their lives because it's a number of prosperity. It is when you put it together, it's a B or an 8. An 8 is the symbol of prosperity. And when you turn an 8 upside down,
Or on
it's
the
what, or sideways, it's
side.
the infinity number. On the side, it's the infinity symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So like, just look at the 13, put it together, it's a B, or the same thing as an 8, prosperity. 8 is my life path number, so I know it represents prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing a number 13 could actually be a good thing if you know our ancient history.
Mm-hmm. It's also a prime number, another number. So a
Oh,
lot of these Masonic organizations, um, like have a reference for prime numbers. So you have 13, you have 11, those are prime numbers. You have
Oh, yeah.
17,
Okay.
that's a prime number. You have 3, that's a
Mm,
number, and so on. And then also with 13, so the Masonic information is not nefarious information,
right.
or being a Mason is not bad, but the bad people are Masons. Boom. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
but just dealing with the regular science, not what the bad people like to do, but just the science. So the way that we constructed our language, the Moors constructed the language. The way we constructed our language is that the letters correlate to the numbers.
Right.
They have a relationship. Like the 11th number is K, K like for key,
Mm.
like right,
Okay.
or the 13th letter is M, like for more,
Oh,
or for mother,
okay.
or there's a whole lot of M words that are like more. Did I say that? But even not the MOOR, but
Hmm.
the MORE, which is still meaning the same thing, or mer, which means water, and again also means mother. And then right, mer, water,
Mm.
water,
So more
right?
M. M is the 13th letter, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. That's 13. I see what you mean.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then they don't have a 13th floor on some buildings. Um, they like to make
Mm.
this letter M, or excuse me, or the number 13. But it's there's a little science to it, and it's cool. We should definitely get involved in it and understand what it is and use it ourselves. And then
Yes.
we have my dog, as the mayor said, good night all,
Good
and we
night.
and you have DP Ventures 2018 says the Niners took a dive. Yes, they willingly took that dive. Thank you.
They sacrificed.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Just to share the message, I appreciate it. For the Niners,
Right, right.
just to share that message with us that we're coming back into power. I definitely appreciate that.
Me too.
Yes. Well, do you want to call this a night?
I definitely do. I'm very tired.
I'm tired too.
I want to go to bed.
Yes,
You
yes.
are okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's 12:34. Let's call it. Let's call it right there.
Okay, and tell people where to follow
Oh
you,
yes,
Doug. Doug
yes. So
Lattimore.
yes, and I'm Douglas Lattimore. You can follow me. You can find me on YouTube. Type in Douglas Lattimore, and you'll find me. I'm two T's, Lattimore. Find me there. You can find me on Instagram. Again, Douglas Lattimore. Basically, all the social media websites. Just find me by using my name, Douglas Lattimore. I have one other
Yeah.
page so far on YouTube. It's called More Empire, and that's where I discuss a lot of political conversations, or I have a lot of political conversations, and we talk about building cities,
I was just about to
creating
say.
our own cities, which we are in the process of doing. We talk about getting what we call Black American men. We talk about getting American men elected into office, and it's really good to check those out. You'll get a lot of good information. But yeah, you can find me there, Douglas Lattimore.
And find me, Dr. Kia Pruitt, on YouTube and Rumble. A DR period space KIA. That's my first name space PRUITT. I have a channel on YouTube, again, a channel on Rumble, and I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and I'm very active. I speak on and teach about geopolitics. That means the political things that are going on all over the world. So I'm going to report to you things that mainstream media will not report, and some of the things that they will report, but mostly what they won't report, because I'm an independent journalist. And I also speak on financial news. I sell gold and silver, meaning that I'm an affiliate with a major gold and silver company known as Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company. If you are interested in adding gold or silver to your portfolio, or if you are interested in a gold IRA, which entails rolling over your retirement account, your 401(b) or your 401k, into gold, or into a gold retirement account or Go IRA, then give Miles Franklin Precious Metals a call at 952-929-7006 and we'll take your order. We'll answer any of your questions, but make sure you mention that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you so you can get the best prices in the industry. So I look forward to seeing you on all my social media platforms. Please like my video, subscribe to the channel, share those that resonate with you that you think is going to help your family, because we're preparing you for the future. And what I prepare people for and what I stick to in my teachings is family, wealth, and legacy. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And Self-Love Creates Love says, thank you both for the build. Thank you. Thank you all for being here and
Thank
joining us.
you, family.
Yes.
Now,
We love you. All right.
are they on your platform and mine, or just yours? I don't know.
I am not exactly sure. It'll be easier for me to answer that once we look back over it.
Okay.
But
Good night, family. Oh, go
good night,
ahead.
family.
Sorry. I'm
No,
so
good night. Yes.
We love y'all so much. Good night. Go make it a great night and safe travels in the what they call the astral realm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Peace.
Peace.